Shalom. Hi. Hi. On Saturday, I want to be more into books. Even if I can't read books, I can uh, look at on my computer and see a small part of the Bible. And you that doesn't read the Bible, many times I have read the Quran also, and they have very much in common. So it can be for you also that read the Quran. It's I have some going on now. About making decisions, and I don't do that in this station. It's those in heaven that do it for me, because I have given my life to them. So it's not in my wants. I don't have any wants when it comes to in what the spirit can decide to do, and it's in their will. So it's very little that I can decide that is in my will. And the boy there in the spirit, that if it was this man's son that was young and died for some years ago, if it was his son that come through, that tried to talk to his father, but the father thought it was demons, and he come here, and he was ready to. He's coming now. I think it's for a short time only. That he say he was coming here to serve me, and I denied him, and I have asked him to forgiven me for to have done that, and he messed up my computer screen very much. It was flickering, and I thought it should crash, total crash, and so I asked him to forgive me for have denied him and say he was dead. He is not dead. It was pretty stupid of me to say that, because he's very alive, and I asked him to forgive me, and he took away that flickering and this that was close to crash. Now it's the computer screen is like it was before, so he took that away because he got his attention. Now he's waving at me with his hand on his way back. He wanted only to be here when I was talking about it. So we are okay, he and I. So he forgave me, and that all it's forgiveness when you come to understand what who is God and what he stands for. Is this to be patient and have love for all people, even if you don't agree to many things that people are saying, but you should not go up in a fight with them, and you can say only that it's okay. I don't agree with you, but that stands for you, so that's okay. Yeah, we can be cool. We can be friends, anyway, even if we have some discussion and disagreement. And so this was the. I'm so happy that my computer screen is back as normal again. It was today. I was writing. I wrote in on Facebook about that. I should make see if I could make something to talk about here on my platform here in my podcast. And I wrote that, but I say it's very bad weather outside, so the best to do is go to bed and listen at nice music. And I know when I lay there and listen at nice music, I always fall to sleep. So I did it. I fall to sleep. And then I had a dream. It was something told to me from heaven. I was going into a feast, banquet, and it was lots of people there, but it was not so old people as me, but it was like they were my schoolmates. It was like it was this reunion of schools there was, and those people that was in my school, they bullied me and they beat me up and was very evil to me. And I have talked about it before, that I was standing with people from other countries, children from other countries that also was not allowed to be with other kids to play. We have to be quiet and standing in the shadow, and if we go out in the light we were beaten up or verbal mobbed. And but it was these people that was on this banquet or feast, and I didn't have the money to enter in from the beginning, so I come in to the feast when people didn't pay attention to who come into the banquet. It was emptied almost. So I went around and looked at the plates where it should have been cakes and big, those cakes for birthday, like, and small cakes, and it was almost nothing on the plates. So I had a plate in my hand and took some cookies I could find. It was only a few left, and but there was some plates that people from foreign countries, that was not Swedish people, they have baked cakes, and those cakes had not those my old schoolmates, they have not taken them because it was from other countries and they wanted only Swedish cakes. And so I could take those cakes instead, cookies. It was only small cookies from them. It was not this big as a birthday cake. That was gone. And so I dreamed that. I wake up and I was laughing a little because it was so young people. So I was thinking if it should be party for my schoolmates, then it must be the grandkids that was there. I was laughing about it, but it was a meaning of it. It was a message for me from heaven, and it was what I should talk about today for this Bible study or Quran studies, or what book you read. That is religions books, and in the Bible, that is my book that I grew up in that from year 2000, and then when I was homeless in United States, I was in a Christian church, but I work 1 year for Muslims in their home, and they have the Quran book, and they teach me from it, and I be surprised that it was so alike. Same much of it was like the Bible. So I took it from the Bible and see what it was. And it was Luke 14, and then it was the line 15 to 24. I hope it was spirit that come in, because I got this breathing. A very strange breathing is it. What it is about, I don't have any text on it, but it is about that Jesus was sitting and eat with his disciples, and he was talking a parable, and it was about a rich man make a banquet, and he invited many people of this. It doesn't say, but I suppose it was on his own level. They were rich also people, and they have, on those people, they have excuses to not come to the banquet. They have all kind of excuses, and the rich man, he be very angry about it, so he told his servants to go out and get all these poor people that was out on the streets, that was laying in the street, and was the lowest of all the people. They have no home, they have no money, they were starving, so they come in to the banquet, and it was about this, my podcast. People are invited to come to my podcast, and then they they listen only on 1, 2 episodes, or they only listen 2 minutes on an episode, and they are invited to come to know the true God, and they invited to come to understand about what's in heaven and how they look from heaven, what they see here on earth, so how they thinking about earth and what they want to help us here on earth, and warning they give to us for us to not be killed. And people doesn't stay. I see it on my statistic. It's I have statistics on every country, but I also have statistic on those cities, that is. And in one statistic I can see if it's men or women that listen at my podcast, so I have some picture of what's going on, and I can't do so much because I don't have any servant to go out and take in those people that need to be fed, and that this food that is in the banquet is not the food you can eat for your body. The food is God's words, and the rich man that is inviting, it's God inviting those that is hungry into the banquet. He invited those that was rich and didn't starve. They had money to eat, and they were thinking they didn't need this food. They had already eaten, and they had the money to could buy more food if they were hungry, so they didn't need that food. That was he's talking about. That people think that it's okay, their life is okay, they can manage their life on their own, they don't need God. So that's those people that say that have many excuses to not to listen at God's words, and what heaven and those spirits that coming here, what they are saying, they feel like they are fed, but if they lose those money they have, they go hungry, and I'm sure that God will invite them again to come to the home, but it will be very embarrassing for these people that have thinking that, because God knows what you're thinking, what you are saying and what you are doing, so he knows what you were saying and what excuses you had, and it's be very, very embarrassing and very bad for you when you return to when you are poor and needed to eat, and when you find out that you didn't have that power, you were not God, you couldn't handle your life, and you're coming back here and want to know what God was saying and what heaven was saying, and those spirits that come through here, what they were saying. And it had been so much easier if you have followed me and listen on each episode when I have published it. Now is it over 300 to go through. It's many hours in it, and it have been so much easier if you not denied it what's going on in my podcast, but if you had listened to it. And I have told you that listen that you should not 100% take what I'm saying, because sometimes I can sometimes fall into my own thinking and my own judgment, because I'm not God. I am a human. I am a person walking here on earth. What is different with me is that I hear from God and I hear from heaven. But between there, I can say wrong things because that's what I have experienced, or what I have read, or what I have watched. And you always have to find out by yourself if this is truth. And if I have say something wrong and I get it later on, I always correct myself. I tell you, I am not proud, so I can tell you that I have say wrong things. Even in the episode I can say that, correct myself immediately, because I'm only human. And if I am not in the spirit, then it doesn't need to be truth. But mostly of the time when I am recording an episode, I am going into the spirit. So the spirit is the truth. But when I am not in the spirit, or doesn't have the real spirit in me, I am on my way into the spirit or out from the spirit, I can say things that is not right. So I have to correct me in next episode. So I think you understand this with a banquet now. The disciple, they didn't understood Jesus, because Jesus was talking in the spirit, and the disciple was not in the spirit. They were in the world, and they followed him, but they didn't could understand when Jesus was talking his parables, and it for to could understand it, you need to come into the spirit for to understand, because what Jesus is saying in his parable is from his spirit to your spirit. And if you don't have that spirit in you, then you have hard to understand. But when I'm talking in the spirit, I try to tell you in more plain. I try to translate it, talking to you so you understand later on, but maybe not in the spirit. And I don't know what I have say in the spirit, what have come to me in the spirit. So many times I have to listen on an episode for to know what was talking about when I was in the spirit, and sometimes I try to explain for you what it really was saying in the episodes, because I understand that it can be hard for you to understand what was saying in the spirit, and those that have this spirit, that get it immediately into their spirit from those spirits that coming here and talking. If they get it, what they are talking about, then you know, and you should be happy, not proud. You should be happy that you understand what the spirit is telling us. I understand what the spirits are telling me in that moment. It is talking to me, but I need to cut it out sometimes from the episode and listen at it on my own also to understand what was saying. So I learn also, not only my spirit learn, that I learn as a human what's going on in heaven, and what the spirits are talking about, and who am God, the first love, God. And so this was I wrote it up because I don't know. It was Luke 14, and then it was those lines there in the chapter 14. It was 15 and 24 that you should study, and always pondering on it. And if you don't understand me, and you don't understand what you're reading, you have to ask God to explain more for you. And like he did this today to me, that I got a dream, and it was a dream from heaven. And you can also, if you are awake, to understand that dream you had was the answer of what you couldn't understand, and you be told from heaven in a dream, explained for you. So if you ask out in the air, ask God to explain for you, you maybe get it in a dream, or you get it suddenly on your computer, something pop up that you can read and understand it. God have many ways to help you in, if you only let him help you. That you not thinking that you can solve every problem by yourself because you are like a God. But we are not. We are small gods that we can decide in our life, but in the big picture we are not God. So thank you for listening. I hope you understand what I'm talking about, and I hope you come back and listen to my podcast. You don't need to listen at every podcast, every episode I publish. I have seen that some are coming and listen at other episodes. So that is very good that you do, but you need to have a big picture. Why do the Spirit is coming to her? You need to know my story also, because if you don't know my story, you don't know the source of the whole podcast. You don't understand the source from the podcast. The source is it's God, but the source is also me, because I receive from God. So I am the source that is telling you what God, the Spirit, heaven is telling me. So I'm the source also, and you need to know where I am coming from, why God is talking to me, why, and take away those why by listen at those episodes that I explain my life for you. So thank you, and God bless you. This is from Eva in Sweden in, I think, July 22, 2022.